Hi everyone and welcome to this week's workout. Having a good filming afternoon this week, hopefully filming the last two workouts which are going to come from the apartment in Jersey because our house move is now well underway and we'll soon be back in the UK. So finishing off a series of workouts that we've been loving our something every week, and this week we're loving our hips, tums and glutes, so covering the sort of pelvic area all around here, giving that area a really good workout, a really good strength and stretch. For that, optional choices. We're not going to be using any weights today, but we will be using a chair for a little bit of support, so have that nearby. If you have a small Pilates ball, great to have that nearby too. And I know some of you might have knocking around an old elastic band that you've used for exercise in the past that maybe is tucked away somewhere. If you can drag that one out too, you can use it. But as always, all of the exercises can be done without, and I'll be doing them without throughout this workout, but just telling you when you can add the props to make the workout just feel a little bit harder or just to change the emphasis. So worth doing that if you want to a little bit later. So without further ado, let's get cracking. So we've got a great combination. Let's start just loosening off in this pelvic area. So just stand with our knees a little bit bent, bottom tucked underneath you, tummy pulled up and in. Good. And we're just going to start. Just have a little roll forward and back through your shoulders, just loosening off and making your arms nice and relaxed as they go. And then just relax your arms and down. Have a stretch up, pull down, with the knees still soft, just take our little tilt and pull down through the pelvic area. So we lift the bottom and then draw it down. Lift, making sure as we do this, I haven't talked about it for a while, but we don't come right back through here. We just come back to that neutral, nice standing tall position. Lovely, and it just loosens up everything in the hips. Come back to the center, so feel tall through here. Don't come back to this squish position, stand up tall. And just for a moment, let your hips go from side to side, keeping your feet firmly on the floor, and just gently push your hips out and then bring them back under control. Soften your knees and do our out and in movement again. Just loosening through that pelvic area. Lovely, a few more. Finishing on that tuck in, come up, and then just relaxing a knee, push the hips out side to side, not too far, just gently, and then come back to the middle. Good, okay. Let's just take our arms overhead and bring them down, just warming up through the arms. Although we're not using them too much on their own, we will be using them in combination with other things, particularly when we get down on the floor. So have a stretch and a pull down, finish at shoulder level and just come in and out and in, and then just combine that with a little sway, warming the legs up too, keeping your bottom down underneath you. Lovely, and then gradually make that bigger, so draw back and in and out. Good, lovely, keep the sway going and now stretch up at the same time. Lovely, so keep that going and then turn it into a little combing of our hair movement, beginning to get those shoulders moving and just having a lovely sort of loosen up through. Good, fabulous, and then walk it back in, working through your foot. To go into a knee lift next, so just alternate knees, doesn't matter which knee you're on. Good, taking your elbows up and just to get the side core muscles working now. Just have a little pull around, opposite elbow, going towards opposite knee, keeping your elbows high for now. A few more, let's do 4, 3, 2, and now bring your elbow down to touch the knee, touch. And you can have a little stretch up in between and bring your back elbow down but behind you. So really having a stretch now, getting the heart going because our arms are moving above our head and getting our core working and our hips and our glutes and our legs. Good, perfect, come back down and come back down. From here, just do a few shoulder rolls and then back the other way. Brilliant, straighten everything up, take your feet out wide, have your toes turned out now, pushing your weight down through your heels, Take a few squats. Fabulous. Tucking your bottom in. Good. And now as we go down, let's take our usual stretch up and down, up, down, up. Getting our heart working. And down. Let's speed it up. Down. Pushing our weight through our heels and pushing our knees out over our toes, but not pushing forward, if that makes sense. So we don't want our knees curling in here. We want them going out, but our weight's going through our heels, keeping our shins back. Perfect. And come back through. Just bringing your feet in now to hip width apart. Take alternate knee lifts. Thinking about now what's happening in your glutes. Pulling that thigh right up to your ribs to have a little stretch out through this part of your glutes. So lift and lift, using your hands to just ease that thigh a little bit closer to your ribs without taking your ribs down. Good, and have a little rest there. So with your chair nearby, let's just loosen off a little bit more in our hips, and this is a good one to do on a weekly basis, and it's from our Happy Hips video as well. Making sure you don't kick anything behind you like I just did. So make sure you've got room to swing that leg. Taking the knee right back, facing down. Face it down. Face it down. The temptation is to go out here, and that's not wrong, but today I just want to stretch out the front of the hip and loosen through. Lovely. Keep kicking the sofa. And then you can just turn around and repeat that. I'm just going to move my chair to the other side. And when you're ready, let's just do the same on the other foot. So brushing the floor as you go, making sure, as I say, you've got room behind you to push that thigh back, keeping your knee facing down. Lovely. Good. And finish there. Good. Okay. So facing the camera or facing your screen again now, make sure you're zipped up through and you've got a lovely strength through your supporting leg as we lift the leg which is on the outside for you. So whichever leg that is, the one furthest away from your chair or your support. Movement we've done before, making sure we haven't sunk down into that hip. Just glue your knees together. Put your lower leg in plaster cast and just lift up, take it down, take it out and in. Lift, down, out and in, keeping your body steady. Out, and you can feel it in this non-working hip first, probably. And lift, take your knee back, lift. So don't let that knee come forward, push it back to that other knee, take it out. Lift, and out. And it's in plaster cast, so your lower leg just goes with it. Your lower leg isn't moving independently. It's all in that plaster cast. Good. Up. Stay here now. Draw up through that supporting leg if you need to, and then just push back and in. Back, stretching through the front of your hips here. Through your hip flexors. Lovely. Just coming back to that mid position. Lovely. And then take it out to the side again. So side, in, side. Now this is where you can tuck your Pilates ball in the crease behind your knee and keep it there. It's really good for keeping that knee in the right position and in. Good. From here, draw up through that supporting leg. We're going to lift, take it back, take it out, push it behind. Push, and twice here, and twice. So come up, down, out and in. Remember, you can have the Pilates ball behind your knee if you want to. It makes it quite hard. And out and in. Push, and forwards. Lift, and out, and push back twice, back, and back. Good. From here, stand facing your chair, take a few steps away, and then ease down, easing back through your legs. So have your knees a little bit bent to start off with, and then ease them out, pushing through. Your bottom, your weight is going over the balls of your feet, and have a lovely stretch up through your glutes at the back here. Lovely. Walk in, come back up, and just turn your chair around the other way. So if you are going to use your ball, and you did on the other side, you just tuck it in behind the joint there. Okay, so from here, let's do our clamshell out and in, making sure we haven't sunk in that hip. out, in, out, in, out, in. Keep going. Good. Making sure your thigh stays facing forward, your leg is in a plaster cast here. Good. Keep going and in, out and in. Keeping the ball between that joint behind your knee if you're using your ball. Up, down, up, down. Lovely. Now push back, back, in. Keeping your body steady. Don't lean forward with that push back. Make it come from your hip. Good. And push. You might feel it in your lower back a little bit, so keep your tummy toned. Keep your bottom down and in. To the side again. Out. Now in a moment we're going to go forward and back. In our plaster cast, off we go. So lift and back and lift. Good. This time we're going forward, then out to the side and 2 back behind us, as we did on the other leg. Good. Lift up, down, out and in, back and again, and lift. Making sure you haven't scrunched up your toes so much you're giving yourself cramp. Back, and you can really feel it, particularly on the supporting hip. Lovely. And push back and come down. Perfect. Good. From here, let's face our chair again. Walk your feet back out. Get a lovely straight tabletop back. Drawing your shoulders back and down. Pulling your tummy and your ribs under control. So they're not coming up here, but they're under control. They're not going down with the gravity. Drawing back and down in your shoulders and easing forward. Weight is on the balls of my feet, not my heels. And I'm pushing against my chair. Soften your knees and walk back up. Perfect. I would love to spend much longer on that, but there's no time at the moment. So now we're going to curl down into our downward dog. So soften your knees, curl your back down, have a lovely stretch through your back and through your glutes. Walk your hands out. Lovely. And pull the weight down through. Now we're going to draw our shoulders back and down. We're going to ease our ribs towards our thighs, but our tummy is toned. And we're going to just ease alternate feet towards the floor like we do quite often. Keeping my ears close to my upper arms, my bottom is lifted up in the air. And then I'm just going to ease both heels towards the floor and have a lovely stretch and just stay here for a moment. I'm not going to overdo that. I'm going to soften my knees and then we're going to walk our hands out into a lovely high plank. Good. Shoulders are back and down. From here, either stay in the high plank or put your knees down if you'd rather, maintaining that beautifully flat body. So tummy is toned, ribs are up and back, shoulders are back and down. And we're a bit in a diagonal line from our ankles to our hips, to our shoulders in a very gentle slope going upwards. From here, we're going to engage through our glutes and just do a lovely leg lift, working through our hip joint. Our abdominals are working hard, our upper body's working very hard. Lift and down, lift. Now we're going to lift and hold. Remember, you can put your feet down at any time and pop it down, making sure your weight stays forward over your hands as well as back through your feet and down, and then bring your knees in. Just have a little relaxed back on your wrists. Lovely. Okay, so now we're going to stay down on the floor, adjust your leggings and your t-shirts if you need to, like me. So in the all fours position, we're going to have our hands splayed out if that's comfy for you. You can be up here if it's a bit uncomfortable on your wrists, and equally you could put your elbows underneath your shoulders if it is too much strain through your wrist. But if you can, come up here, wrists under your shoulders and knees underneath your hips, lifting your own body weight up and drawing your shoulders back and down. Thinking about your right knee and the plaster cast still being on. We're going to repeat the move we did at the chair, going out and in, our clamshell legs and in, out. Not letting our body rock and roll, it's just coming from our hip, through our lower back a little bit, but working through our abductors and adductors, over our hips, and lovely, And this time stay out here and just take some pulses out here. So they're called end range pulses. So we get to the end of our move and then we do some pulses, keeping our body steady. I can see my shadow jumping a bit then. I had to really contract, or not contract, but really tone through my core muscles to keep me steady and then bring it back in. Using that same leg, take it out behind us and lift it up. Bring it round to the side, won't go very far, without moving your body, and back. Out to the side, and then do a few with our heel going up to the ceiling. Have a look at your shadow, try not to let your upper body move too much, make that movement, it's only small, come from your hip. Tummy's toned, remember, pop it down on the floor, do some little lifts, tucking your toes down, good. Very, very nice. And then pop it down and bring it in. Have a little relax off through your wrists. Good. And then we go back down, ready to do it all on the other leg. So you don't need to turn around, but I'm just going to turn around so that you can see it, so you can see my leg. So wrists planted underneath your shoulders again, knees underneath your hips, shoulders back and down, and just look along your mat. Just a little bit beyond your fingers, but not too far. So you're not looking up here and you're not looking down there. Okay, imagine you've got that ball back between your knees in. You could do that, but it'll be quite hard to keep it there. Why not have a go if your ball is there? I'm not making sure I'm not leaning on my side with both my hand and my knee still on the floor. I'm not leaning that way. Have a little look at your shadow, make sure it looks steady. Lovely. I've only got a shadow because it's really horrible weather out there. When I decided to film today, it was beautiful and sunny and I thought it'd be a lovely bright room. By the time I got it all ready, it was completely dull, windy and raining again. So I'm not leaning into my supporting hip, I'm pulling up through. Both hands are taking equal weight, as is my knee that's still on the floor, and pop that down. Take your leg out to the back behind you and just take, whoops, making sure, not like me, not doing very well today with my furniture, that you're not going to kick anything. Lovely, I'm just going to shimmy forwards, but you don't really need to. That was bad planning, wasn't it? Lovely. And then just take your toe down and down and up here. And then like we did on the other side, we're going to stay up now and take that leg out and in. Having a little look at your upper body, making sure it's staying as steady as it possibly can be. Your knee, thigh and shin is facing down to the floor. We're not rotating in the hip there at all. Good. Come back down, have a little relax back. And we're going to now lie on our sides. Again, now you have a choice. You can either keep your elbow underneath your shoulder, or if that's, I'd rather you were up here so we get to lift this bit up. But if it's really uncomfortable, you can lay all the way down. Now if you have your band handy, you can just pop it around your legs, tie a big knot in it so that you can keep your legs together and just have a little pull against it. But equally you can do this without a band as well. So we're going to lie on our side. We're going to be stacked. So our hips are sort of on top of each other in a diagonal shape. Our elbow is underneath our shoulder. We haven't sunk down in the body, we're lifting our body up. We could have a hand here, or we could put one on our hips. And we're just going to take our clamshell, gluing our inner feet together. And if you've got your band on, you can pull against your band. But you don't need a band at all, you can do it perfectly well without as we go. We're going to pop that plaster back on our leg and then we're going to lift it as a whole. Lifting it up and down, tummy is toned and we're lifting our own body weight up. So by keeping this bit all stable and lifted, we're working our core at the same time. Make sure your shoulders stay back and down. Good, and now straighten your legs out. Adjust your band, pull it further up your thighs if you need to. Stretching out, we're now just going to take some side lifts. Long legs. We're not going to rotate. A couple of weeks ago we did some lovely rotation lifts here, but we're not doing that today. Thighs, knees and shins facing forward, and then stretch your heels. Lovely, and pull your toes back towards you. Feel that lovely work up over the top here. Beautiful. Good. And again, I'd love to stay here and do loads, but we just don't have time. So we're now going to shimmy around and do all of that on the other side. I'm going to take my band off, just for those of you who don't have a band, but it is exactly the same. But you can keep your band on if you have one. So beautiful lift up through here, shoulders back and down. Just have your head fairly relaxed, don't sort of stick it forward or pull it back too far. Nice and relaxed. Lift and lower through here. Checking your elbows underneath your shoulders, your hips are stacked, your feet are one on top of each other, staying glued together, and feel that beautiful work going on deep in the hip joint there. Okay, let's do 4 more here, and 3, and 2. Ready for the plaster cast now to lift the whole leg up, down, up and down, up and down. Good. Keeping out of your shoulders. Don't hunch down here. Don't let your body sink. Keep going and feel that work going on deep in here. Obviously our inner and outer thighs are working hard too. And don't let your lower leg get left behind. Good. Stretch out there and keep going up and down here. We're not rotating, remember. Hips are on top of each other, elbows underneath our shoulders. Ankles are stacked as well, and we're just lifting up. And then when you've done a few, pull your toes back towards you. Keeping your body facing the screen. Don't let any part of it rotate. You've got headlamps on your hips, just pointing forwards. Lovely, and come down. I've got the clock there and time is just ticking on. So now let's ease back down onto our mats. We're going to have our hips, we're going to do some hip lifts, some pelvic lifts first of all. So have your feet fairly close to your bottom, not right in tight, but not out here either, so somewhere in the middle. Draw down through, have your feet and knees hip width apart. Again, you could do this with your band on your legs if you want to as well, so you can just keep it on, it is up to you. Relax down through your shoulders and have an imaginary tennis ball under your chin. We're just going to lift up 4 counts. 3 and 4, and down, 2, 3 and 4. Push your hips up to the ceiling. 3 and 4, draw down, 2, 3, 4. We're going to peel our back off the floor and push it back down. Lovely. We're going to go up and down on 1 and down. Lift and down. I'm not pushing my belly button to the ceiling. I'm lifting my hips up. I'm contracting or sort of working, squeezing in my glutes to push me up. Squeeze your glutes to push you up. Squeeze and up and squeeze. This time I'm going to go up for 3 counts, 2 and down on 1. 4. 1, 2, 3 and down. 1, 2. Make sure you use each count. 1, 2, 3 and down. Go up on 3 and stay there this time. We're going to bend one knee in. So if you have your band on, it will restrict where you go, but that's absolutely fine. And we're just going to have the foot hovering near the other knee, but in a straight line, not curling in. Keeping our hips as high as we can, and then just going down and pushing our hips up on the beat. And feel the extra work now on the other glute as we push up and down. It's got to push everything up, and our legs are quite heavy. And down and up. Still thinking the same theory. Hips pushing up, not tummy. Our tummy stays toned. You shouldn't feel anything in our lower back because we don't want to arch that lower back. We want to keep a neutral spine. Lovely. And then come back down. Good. Ready to lift up and then do the other leg. So push up, hips up, tummy down, back nicely toned and under control. Lift that leg now. Have that foot near the knee but not too close to go down and up. And then feel the work transfer now to the other hip. Don't push one hip up further than the other. Try and push them both up the same distance. And lift, still curling the spine down and peeling it back off again. And up. Try not to have this thigh too close to you, otherwise that makes it a bit easier. We want a heavy leg to push up and down. I'm not pushing on my arms, by the way. They're just relaxed by my side, my shoulders are down, and I still have that imaginary tennis ball under my chin and relaxed down. Good, well done. So we're going to push up into that pelvic lift again, and we're going to do what we call a hammock move. We haven't done it before in a weekly workout, I don't think, or if we did, it was a long time ago. We're going to take our body weight over to one side, come through the middle and up the other side, as if we're making a U shape, a square U. So we're going down and up. What I want you to do though is to keep your hips completely level. I don't want one hip lifting higher than the other on the scoop back up. I want them both to be the same. So we're making a U shape, but it's an equal U. It's like a square U. So we're not having one hip pushing up on one side. My tummy's not leading, my hips are. So I'm going down, moving along, lifting up. Going down, moving along, lifting up. Going down, moving along. Now you might feel this a little bit in your lower back. We're working through those glutes, so hopefully you feel it there. But in your lower back is working hard too, but it shouldn't be painful. You should just be aware that you're maintaining control with these core muscles, and they are, in the very event of doing that, working quite hard. And let's relax down. Well done. I really like that one. I haven't done it for ages, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Okay, now take your hands behind your head. We're going to work our tummies. We have been working them a lot, but sort of in a subconscious way. So now we're really going to make our tummies work. We're going to relax our tummies down into the floor to maintain a neutral spine as we lift our upper body, letting the weight of our head come into the palms of our hands, and hold it here and down. So we're going to go up, 2, 3, down and 4. Up, 2, 3, down and 4. Keep going. I'm not pushing my head up. My hands are just there for support. My elbows are staying out a bit, coming in slightly, but not too much. Up, 2, 3. Now we're going up for 2 and down for 2. So up, 2 and down for 2. Up for 2 and down for 2. 2 more. Up and up, down and down, up and up, down and down. Good. Release your head away from your hands now, and just bring your right knee in and stretch it out. I'm going to swap knees so that you can see, but don't put it on the floor. So it's coming right in and going right out. Right in and going right out. Right in and out. Keep going. Add your upper body in and down and in and down and in and down and in. Swap legs and in and push and in and push and in. Tennis ball under your chin, shoulders back and down. Good. Now bring both knees in and straighten both out, but along the floor. In and straighten along the floor. It's too much strain on your lower back and down through your pelvic floor. Unless you know you have really strong tummy muscles, then you could lift them slightly off the floor. But if you don't, just slide along the floor, keeping your lower back close to the floor as you can, keeping your tummy flat and not bulging it in. Lovely. And now add your upper body. So we're going to curl up and pull our shins right in, not our knees, our shins, and then stretch out overhead. Pull in and stretch out. Pull in and stretch out, keeping our back as close to the floor on that stretch out as we can. Lovely. Good. From here, we're going to keep our hands back here if it's comfy. If not, you can relax them back down. Stretching back if you can. We're going to take some scissor legs. Lovely straight legs, keeping our lower back on the floor, bending your knees if it's quite hard with straight legs for you. So that's a slightly easier option. Some with a heel stretched, some with a pointed toe. Don't take them too high, and just make sure your lower back stays on the floor. You're breathing all the way through, shoulders relaxed. Let's do 4 more, and 3 more, and 2 more, and 1. Bring it down, good, and bring your knees back in. Lovely. Okay, let's roll over onto our tummies before I run out of time completely. So I hope you found that quite nice and hard work on your tummy muscles. From here, just relax the upper body, one hand on top of the other, relaxing down, forehead on your hands if you can, but if you'd rather, you can turn your head to one side. We're just going to bend one knee, pointing our toe up to the ceiling, and just lift and lower. Did you see my hip bone roll off then? Keeping your hip bone on the floor, lifting and lowering. We're going to lift, take it out a little bit, down, lift it up, bring it back and close. Lift it up, take it out, pop it down, lift it up, bring it back and close. Lift and out, pop it down, lift it up. Keeping the upper body relaxed if you can. And lift, up, down and close. Change legs. In, big toe pointing up to the ceiling. Lift and down, keeping your hip bone on the floor. Lift and down, lift. I'm going to swap legs, but you don't need to, just so that you can still see. Shoulders are back and down. Good, take it out to the side, so lift, out, down to the floor, lift, bring it back, down, lift, take it out, down to the floor, lift, bring it back, pop it down, and hopefully you can feel that, deepen that glute, down, up, in, bring it down, lift, round, down, lift, bring it back, down, and relax. Well done. As always, we've just run out of time. If you are in the Hampshire area and you want to do longer classes face to face, do ping me a message and we'll see if we can hook up. It would be really good. From now, let's push up onto our knees and let's go back into a lovely child's pose to stretch out through the lower back and have a lovely stretch to finish. So from here, push up into a lovely downward dog. So push up through, walk your feet in a little bit if you need to, and feel a lovely stretch over your glutes, over your bottom cheeks, easing those heels towards the floor, but they won't touch the floor because your weight is too far forward. Draw those shoulders back and down, pull the tummy up, lift your hips up to the ceiling. Lovely, that is so nice, isn't it? And then ease down, back onto all fours, lovely. Now if your hips are okay, we're now going to just take one leg forward, stretching out through that back leg, so making sure that this front leg, the shin doesn't push forward, you push down into your heel. Just pop your hands either side and have a little stretch out through the front of this hip. After all that lovely work, it's done. Good, well done. And then just come back now and have a little straighten out in this front leg, pulling your toes back towards you and have a little stretch up through here. If you want to, you can come up tall, but if that puts you off your stretch, you can stay down here as you go. And then let's just elegantly, I can never do that elegantly, I think my legs are too long to be elegant in this position. Just take the other foot out, have a lovely stretch through. So the most important bit is A, we're not pushing our shin forward or pushing our heel down, but we're having that lovely stretch through the back leg's hip at the front there. Beautiful, lovely. Change over and bring that other leg back. Have a lovely stretch up. Come up tall if you can. Whoa, good job the sofa was there to get me. Pull up tall through, feel lovely, or you can stay down here. Stretch out down the back of that leg. Lovely. Let's lie down on our backs again. Nearly there now. Just want to have a lovely stretch out through the hips, through the pelvic area. So do our good old faithful hip stretch. I think everybody should do this at least once a week. 3 or 4 times a week would be great. Just have a lovely stretch out down through. So pull this thigh back, push that top knee out. I'm not yanking on anything, I'm gently teasing And keeping a lovely posture position down here, and then release off and do it on the other side and stretch out there, pushing that knee out, pulling that thigh in. Beautiful. And just to finish this off completely, a bit of a strange way to finish, but I want to stretch out through our abdominals. So roll over onto your tummy, let your legs just relax, have your elbows underneath you, and just push on up into a cobra. So you might want to go here, you might prefer to go here, but what I want you to do is do it for your abdominals at the front. Feel that stretch coming up from your pubic bone right up through the front of your abdominals, right up across your ribs, and then ease down and down. Once more, tuck your toes under, come back into child's pose, stretching out, and then come to kneeling or sitting. Don't kneel if your knees are funny, just go straight to sitting, sink onto one side, and then come to standing. Lovely. Have a beautiful stretch over the top when you're ready. Oh, that's nice. We didn't do much of this side flexion today, but we'll make amends for that another day. And over the other side. We didn't use any weights today either, so we'll make amends for that next week. Next week it is going to be arms and legs, so watch out for that. So we didn't use our arms and legs that much this time. Watch out for next week. They will get their own back. Well done. Hope you enjoyed that focus on this area of the body, and I'll see you next time.